Breath is a very important part of many, many spiritual traditions. The Buddhist tradition would sit and observe your breathing. The Taoist tradition in their Tai Chi or Qigong would breathe with the movements. And in fact they have some meditations which are simply about sitting and allowing the breath to move your body. The Christian tradition talks about the breath of life. Breath is very important on some level. But connecting to the spiritual depths of the breath requires a connection in the mind as well as in the body. It's not just about breathing. It's about experiencing the breath as divine. When you experience the breath as divine, then that divine energy flows through the breath and enlivens every part of your being. So when we are doing yoga, or it can be used without the yoga in other practices as well, we are always working with the breath. And hence in yoga you have a lot of techniques that are called pranayama. Prana actually means the energy, the inner energy, like the chi or the force that flows through us. So pranayama is controlling and energizing that force. And it's done through breathing control, breathing practices. There are techniques where they close one nostril and then the other and breathe. There are techniques where you breathe in very, very quickly and then allow the breath to come out slowly. Where there are many, many different ways of working with the breath. But to do any of these properly requires a concentration of mind, not just a breath in the body. If you are concentrating your mind on something more mundane, if you're getting distracted in the meditation and thinking about what you would like to eat, thinking about all of the stresses of the day, and then you do these slow, deep breathing practices, you can actually focus that energy that is distracting you into your body, and you can focus the energy of stress into your body, or you can focus the energy of hunger or desire for food. It's not what you're looking for. So some of the more advanced pranayama practices should not be done as a beginner, should only be done after you're very, very familiar with meditation and with connecting to the divine, to the light. However, some of the simpler practices are actually necessary to do a good yoga practice well. And they're very easy and easy to get a basic effect, easy to get a good effect with them, but very deep in that you can always do them better and better and learn more and more about them. So here's one that's often called box breathing. It's a technique that's used not just in yoga but in other things, such as Wim Hof is using it for learning to control your body temperature and swim in ice, for example. But it's very important in the yoga because most yoga postures are actually based on this breathing technique. By working with this breathing technique first, you learn how to do the yoga postures properly. So the breathing technique is that you breathe in, and when you finish breathing in, you hold your breath for a little bit. Hold. And then breathe out slowly. Hold. Hold the breath out. And then, when you're ready, breathe in. Hold. And keep going like that. The first thing you might notice is that when you are holding your breath, the thoughts tend to stop or still somewhat. So it's much easier when some people are looking for still the thoughts to find that sense of peace, it's very much easier to do when you're holding your breath. And so we get a moment of peace. Of course, we're looking for more than a moment of peace. We're looking for a lifetime of peace, an eternity of peace. But a moment of peace is a good beginning. So when you hold the breath, you get that moment of peace. Breathe out. Breath, get that moment of peace. But the other thing you want to do is to bring in the peace and joy and spirit into the breathing itself. So when you're breathing in and when you're breathing out, you want to imagine that you're breathing out all the way to infinity, to the divine, beyond this universe. So you breathe out all the way beyond the universe into the divine, and you breathe in all the way from beyond the universe, from the divine. However you imagine that. Sometimes people imagine it as a light, like shining like a sun. And that's quite a good way, because you can imagine the light shining into you and shining through your breath, and you're breathing the light in and out. And other people imagine it in different ways. They can imagine it as a figure, like a god figure, or they can imagine that they're connecting deep into the earth, and through the earth connecting to all things. Whatever way works for you, wherever you find that divinity, just breathe in that perfect divine, and breathe out that divine, that light, and hold. Breathe out, hold. So all yoga postures, let's say almost all, it might be all of them, but I'd have to check that. But generally, yoga postures, they work with this kind of breath. As you breathe in, you do the stretch backwards, and then as you hold, you kind of hold and strengthen that position, and then as you breathe out, you stretch forwards, and then you hold and stretch that position. And some yoga postures focus more on the in-breath and the stretch back, and some yoga postures focus more on the out-breath and the stretch forward. But they're all working with this breathe, hold, stretch, hold. And so if you already know some yoga postures and you want to use this breathing with them, it's very effective. So I will keep connection with you all, and hopefully by next week I will have another video about how we can use self-massage in yoga, and how much that increases the ability of the skin and the energy to flow really, really well.